and welcome to the Busted Knees and Pretty Trees podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I am Travis J. Wyatt, your kickoff man, and I would like to mention that we've been getting more and more love from our listeners every day. We're absolutely thrilled by it, and we hope to encourage more good folks to take that first step out on the trail equipped with a comfortable, well-balanced, lightweight backpacking pack with all the fixins and a mind for exploration. It gets us charged up. We've got a great episode coming, and after I read the show notes, I was shocked, like everyone, by everything all the time. I'm shocked because today the guys are bringing the power of electricity to camp.
Ooh,
We're going to talk about the solar and battery-driven gear you might find useful on your journey through the backcountry. I'm curious to see what devices these two gear freaks have on their backpacking list. Please welcome the high-tech Bradley Greer and the high-voltage Paddy Richardson.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe us.
Welcome us.
I did speak of goodies on the trail.
Goodies.
The Podfather Justin brought us some Snickers bars when he visited the studio last week. And it was a delicious little treat before recording. So thank you, Justin.
As soon as you get an opportunity, toss me
One of them
Snickers
Snickers.
bars. Quick question for you two.
Please.
What's the most recent piece of gear you've bought out of all of it?
Most recent piece of gear I've purchased, probably now, the Grail. My Grail water bottle, the GeoPress.
What is that?
It's going to be it's not for backpacking at all. More for my canoeing and kayaking. It's just a bottle, kind of like a French press where you fill up the main bottle part with water right out of the river. And then you press down the filter into that. The water's forced to go through the filter. And now you have clean drinking water with one cup. As opposed to taking a cooler or taking Sawyer filters and things like that. This just does all that.
And you wouldn't take it backpacking, though?
No, it's big. I mean, the GeoPress is the larger one, and it's pretty big. So I don't think I would prefer to do that. I would rather take a lightweight, like, smart bottle with a Sawyer filter on top.
Yeah.
I have been looking at, like, 1 liter, like, squeeze bottles, like where they're collapsible bottles, as opposed to taking a
That'd be
Smart
kind of like having the Sawyer squeeze on the end of one of the bladders that come with it.
Yeah, that's right.
I would laugh if I looked over and saw you squeezing water straight into your mouth at one of those bladders.
Brad,
What's yours, dude?
I just got kind of the same. It's like kind of for outdoors, but not necessarily backpacking. I'm on the never-ending quest to find the ultimate pack to wear when I'm out taking photos.
Yeah.
And so I got this Osprey Daylight backpack. I think it's 27 liters.
Yeah.
Might be a little smaller.
Oh, is that thing there?
Yeah. And it kind of cracks me up because it's identical to my Osprey Atmos 65 liter. It's just 27 liters. Like all the pockets, all the compression straps. It has load lifters. It has the anti-gravity like back system thing. And it's identical to my 65 liter. It's just a tinier version of it. And it's pretty nice because every backpack you get now has like laptop compartments and like I don't need any of that. I just want one huge pocket to put everything in.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's cool, though.
I got that.
Nice.
Well, when you're out, I mean, if you're looking for a bag for birding, like I would have to imagine that's kind of around the same concept of to have all that good stuff that a backpacking pack would have.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I know firsthand that when you're out there and you're just kind of meandering or sauntering, you polish off some miles.
Oh, yeah.
So some of those packs do get extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
A simple backpack is not going to suffice if you're walking 10 miles.
Yeah, and you can have
afternoon.
like a liter of water, 2 liters of water, like a monopod.
Yeah.
You can end up carrying a lot of weight.
Yep.
So it's pretty nice. Yeah.
Cool, dude. What's the last piece of gear you purchased, Travis?
Back in 2010.
That's what I was about to say.
North Face, something. It's got to be North Face.
I haven't bought shit.
But you are now, after all of our conversations in the last few weeks and seasons, you did alert us that you are on the hunt for your new Core 3 setup?
I'm on the hunt.
Oh.
I think I spend an embarrassing amount of time on my phone looking at new backpacks and tents.
You
and
wouldn't have to be
sleeping
embarrassed in
systems.
front of us.
Yeah, I could tell you, Travis, whatever amount of
So it's
hours
been-
you spent looking at gear, you could 10 times that. And that's what I've looked. I mean, no way.
I'm never going to find the perfect setup.
Sure you will.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. For sure.
Yeah.
I'm talking like it might be useful, but it won't look the way I want it. Or
Oh,
it'll look the way I want it, but it's not going to be good gear for me.
Yeah, because that's like
pain in the
the
ass.
Gossamer Mariposa backpack I want to get, but I don't like any of the colors that it comes in.
Yep.
yeah.
So I'm just going to have to suck it up.
This is going to be a battle for me
Yeah.
between aesthetics and practicality.
The life of being an artist.
That's right, dude.
Oh,
Hey,
there we go.
dude, the Panther is back. That excites me every farting time I hear that growl. Was that a growl?
I don't know. Roar?
Scream?
Scream?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. That's it really is a unique sound.
Yeah.
Wow. Go at it,
Well,
Brad.
anyways, the Department of the Interior has designated 5 new national recreation trails. This article is straight from the Department of Interior website. So like a .gov.
Let's go.
Legit.
Okay.
It made me kind of more curious about what the National Trail System is. So it's a series of trails in the United States designated to, this is a quote like from the title that it gives it authority, I guess. Mm-hmm. It says, to promote the preservation of public access to, travel within, and enjoyment and appreciation of the open air, outdoor areas, and historic resources of the nation.
Salute.
Yeah,
That was great.
let's get a bald eagle screech.
Screech.
No,
Call.
that's not about it.
Call. It's bald eagle.
So within the National Trail System, it's made up of these different groups. There's the National Scenic Trails, which this is your Appalachian Trail, Pacific Crest, Continental Divide, Florida Trail, North Country Trail, you know, all the big hits. Mm-hmm. You have your National Historic Trails. This is like the Lewis and Clark Trail, the Oregon Trail, the Pony Express Trail, the Iditarod,
Ooh.
and the Trail of Tears.
We should have a Johnny Appleseed trail.
Yeah, we should. Based
Yeah.
off last week, you're damn right we
Yeah.
should.
So then national recreation trails are a designation given to existing trails that contribute to the recreational and conservation goals of the national network of trails. So like that quote, if it fits within that quote earlier that I just read, then like local municipalities or states submit it to the Department of Interior to be considered like, please think about making this a national recreation trail.
Dang, cool.
Yeah. There are over 1,300 miles of trails over all 50 states, and they're on lands like ranging from federal land, state, municipal, tribal, and there's some private lands that are like available for public use.
Right.
They can range from less than a mile or up to 500 miles long, and overall, they're combined make up 29,000 miles of trails. Yeah, it makes me wonder if anybody's ever or will hike every single mile of the 29,000 miles of the National Trail System.
Or like who has the most locked in.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
Someone's gonna do
someone
it.
that's got to be out there.
That's our human nature. There's
Yep.
going to be the first.
Because, I mean, it kind of made me want to do it. So,
Yeah.
Has it been done? No. Okay.
Yeah.
so the trails range from, and I'm sure like everybody has these in their city. Like you have bike paths, rail trails, like old railroad beds are
Yep.
usually turned into greenways. And then the intended uses range from watercrafts to horses to cross-country skiing, off-road recreational vehicles, like just any recreating you can pretty much do. Because there's even national water trails, which are a subsegment of national recreational trails.
Thank God.
And they're obviously like mostly rivers and stuff like that. I will say I'm a sucker for like a really good design flag and good design logo.
Yeah.
And the National Recreational Trail logo is awesome. Like it has like a, I don't even know how to
This guy
explain
is
it.
awesome.
Ooh, Travis, the
It's-
resident artist,
It's pretty good.
disagrees with you.
Well, Paddy, you're the swing vote. What do you think?
Is it awesome?
I think it kind of looks like the karate logo. Like from this angle, it looks like
Karate logo.
Yeah, I'm not sure what logo I'm talking about. The like the National Taekwondo Association is what I'm saying. I don't know. I would have to. I don't
like
know
the
why.
Karate Kid.
It comes right to my mind, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It looks cool. I mean, dude, I don't give a shit.
There's
it
at
looks
least
cool.
some. My least favorite part's the color of it, like the red. I mean, it is red, white, and blue.
It is,
but that part of it may look a little cheesy.
It's got a mountain with a river coming,
and the
at
river's
us.
the S in USA.
Oh, okay. I'm not seeing that because I have an angle here. So if that is the truth, I'm gonna go 8 out of 10.
And the river's leading from a mountain range.
I am no artist.
Yeah.
It looks like they were inspired by a podcast logo.
It does look like they were inspired by a certain podcast logo that we know so well. Dude, I'm going. I like it. I like
Thank
it.
you.
Way to
All right.
go.
Nice.
Let's get it.
Yeah, way to go.
You flipped me.
Yeah, there. Travis is back too. Okay.
So the new NRTs, short for National Recreational Trails, span over 6 states and adds 387 miles to the national system. And here are the new trails. One is in California. This is the Miners Ravine Trail. The city of Roseville constructed the 6.36 mile trail. It's on city property, and the whole purpose of it was to give residents an opportunity to explore nature in their own community. So they proposed that it became a national trail, and it got approved, obviously. The next one is the Ohio Riverway, which is a water trail. It includes Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio. It's basically a stretch of the Ohio River. Mm-hmm. It's 308 miles. It connects the Appalachian wilderness to small river towns and is steeped with history. I mean, that's like basically what built the West.
Damn right.
Like all the way through like Cincinnati, St. Louis, all the big cities. So the Lewis and Clark expedition used this trail. It was part of the Underground Railroad. And obviously like the flatboats and steamboats have been using it since the 1800s.
All right.
Yeah. Next is the Cuyahoga River Water Trail. It's in Ohio. It's 41-mile portion of the designated part is a 41-mile stretch of the Cuyahoga River, and it's in northeastern Ohio. Mm-hmm. The one thing I couldn't find is if this goes through Cuyahoga National Park. I couldn't quite figure that part out because it seems like the Cuyahoga River is like a big loop that kind of swings wide of Cleveland.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's right there Cuyahoga is right by Cleveland.
Yeah.
I'm happy that they're doing waterways. I don't know how many waterways. I mean, like I haven't looked into how many waterways are like preserved and saved. I know I do a lot of canoeing, kayaking up in Michigan, and I know a lot of those rivers that I do are national scenic rivers.
Yeah.
But I am happy that they are, because as a canoe or kayaker in Indiana, especially, I have a tough time finding water down here that I feel like safe being in for days on end, because of all agriculture runoff, things along those lines. I would assume that if they designate these waterways certain things, that now you're mandating a certain level of cleanliness as well.
So what do they do to, how they maintain trails, and now they have these water trails, which sounds like an oxymoron or something. But how do they put the funds that they're given into maintaining the river? Do you know?
Well, it is kind of weird because getting this designation doesn't come with at least like federal, like the NPS and National Forest Service and a lot of the agencies help manage it, but it doesn't necessarily like mean you're going to have federal employees or rangers in there doing anything. It's just like gets added to the list of this is part of the National Recreation Trail System.
Right. Nothing changes at the river. It's just now part of.
I think they may get some funding or something, but it's still up to whoever's owns it that they maintain it, or like a lot of volunteer groups like we've been talking about since the podcast started, like Friends of the Smokies. A lot of them like.
So it doesn't come with a level of mandate then?
Not any like, there's not like a responsibility like for it to be maintained the status of a national trail. Like it doesn't have to meet requirements or anything.
Well, that's
I think it's just
kind of a bummer.
I think it's
I'm
just
still proud of it.
Well, I think I would assume they get funding or something.
Yeah.
And it comes with like a recognition that's going to draw people there.
Right,
So it's to stimulate their local towns and like these small river towns and stuff.
Touché.
Because they are most of these new ones are riverways too. Mm-hmm. Virginia, they have the Elizabeth River Trail, which is a trail that follows a river. It's 10.5 miles from Norfolk State University to the Port of Virginia. Then the last one, there was a couple. When I was going through this, it seems like Wisconsin has a couple cool trails that seem interesting, and this one's a waterway.
Do commercial vehicles or watercraft go on those waterways?
Yeah, and it's dependent on the waterway, but like I mean the one's the Ohio River, so
For sure.
Right.
yeah, it just all depends on whatever is established or what it was built for. Wisconsin has the Great Pinery Heritage Waterway, which is 20.8 miles of the overall 108-mile long waterway. It's dubbed the hardest working river in the world due to its once thriving mill towns and industrial areas.
Okay.
So, like, because they would float the logs down the river.
Right.
So that river had to do all the work, carrying them down. Yeah. So,
damn.
National Trail System.
There we go.
Interesting.
Water
I'm-
trails.
Yeah, I'm digging that.
There's a lot of ground to be pounded out there.
Yeah.
And water to be paddled.
Yeah.
Paddled.
Yeah.
I was going to say slapped at first.
Well, good for us.
Yeah.
When did that take place?
I think it was like June 6th, I believe.
Oh, like
Which
yesterday.
which was actually I think we missed this. It was the National Trail and Hiking Day or something is when they announced this.
Really?
There was like a national trail day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, happy belated Trail Day,
Yeah,
guys.
Yeah.
How did we not know about that?
Right.
Doesn't matter now, we do.
I didn't miss National Donut Day, I can tell you that much.
All right, next I have a story about a probably newly minted endangered species called the ghost orchid.
That sounds like it should be a sci-fi movie.
It looks like it belongs. Like it looks like it's a infestation on an alien or on us, like in Aliens, the movie. That's like on a spacecraft. It looks really cool. So the ghost orchid is also known as the palm poly or the white frog orchid. I have a picture to show you guys.
White frog orchid?
I could see how maybe it looks like a white frog.
Oh, God. Are you kidding me?
The first picture I showed has a dude behind it giving it 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, with a safety orange shirt on.
But anyways, that's a ghost orchid. So the plant is leafless. It consists mainly of a network of photosynthetic roots that attach high up on a tree. Then the petals hang down and they look like they're hovering, floating ghosts. And they look really cool.
They do look really cool.
Like there's no leaves at all.
No,
It's just the
root
roots.
structure.
Wow.
And the root structure climbs up the trees to get light instead of like the leaves getting light. So it's a bit unique in that it uses that way to do the photosynthesis.
Yeah.
They only grow in swampy forest in southwestern Florida and then some islands in the Caribbean. But yeah, with those roots, the roots are flat. They're cord-like. They almost look like vines growing around a tree. Like you would think, if I looked at it, I would just think it looked like vines growing on a tree.
Yeah.
But it's actually the root system.
You'd yank them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ghost orchid?
Now I wouldn't. Yeah, ghost orchid.
Cool.
In the U.S., like they're only found in Big Cypress National Preserve. That's the only place they're found.
Really?
Yeah. So, or at least in that area,
Yeah.
like that environment. And that preserve holds 30 different orchid species, with ghost orchids being the rarest. And they estimate there's less than 1,000 in the U.S., with only half of those old
Single
like
plants?
Yeah. With like we're looking at the picture we're looking at, there's like 5 of them maybe.
Is that from one plant or is that...
I think I don't know. I think those are each individual plants.
Oh,
But I'm not
geez.
100% sure.
I don't like that drive-by science.
And only half of them are mature enough to reproduce too. So there's only 500 that are old enough to reproduce.
So does it take them a long time to get up the tree? Do they have to grow all the way up the tree from the ground? And then they bloom up there? Or how does that happen?
You know, like I honestly don't, like I tried looking into it and it got into some really complicated biology stuff about how it gets its nutrients and the photosynthesis process. And I didn't really quite understand it. Like it took me a long time even to realize, because at first I thought they grew like within the root structure of a tree, but then I realized they actually grow like up in the tree. So it seems, it's really confusing how it all works.
What's their blooming pattern? Like, do they bloom in the day? Or does it, like, how long until, I assume maturity means bloom?
Yeah, I think so.
So how long is that process?
That's kind of another weird thing that I don't have an answer to, but a lot of the pictures, when you look at it, they are like nighttime pictures.
Yeah.
So it did make me think like it might be a short, quick bloom.
Right.
And it only happens like overnight.
Yeah.
And a lot of times.
Reminds me of the Dennis the Menace movie with Walter Matheson or whatever, where they're waiting for
Walter
that
Matthau?
to bloom one time.
Yeah, he had like a party.
Yeah. Yep.
Then old Dennis the Menace.
Old Dennis the Menace screwed it all up.
Is that Macaulay Culkin?
No,
No.
I don't remember the boy's name.
So the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service issued a new rule that would protect the flower under the Endangered Species Act. Scientists and enthusiasts are obviously like very excited about this. I think it's been in the works since like 22. So under the Endangered Species Act, it's kind of like bittersweet right now because it's also with all the cuts to that impact environmental conservation and national parks and just all the funding towards it. So it's kind of unknown how that's going to affect the Endangered Species Act and the kind of support that gets. And the Institute for Regional Conservation, they're the group that was kind of behind the push for making this to get it added to the endangered species list. They also wanted the habitat that they grow in to be part of that protection because that'll help give enforcement, like better enforcement options against poaching. Because I think poaching is like one of the biggest problems because they're so rare and they're really, really hard to cultivate. I don't think they can successfully say they can cultivate this flower like outside of where it grows naturally.
Yeah.
And so poaching's a big deal. Threats of like drilling, off-road recreational vehicles, and just like all of that. But the Fish and Wildlife did not include the habitat as part of it. So they were a little bummed about that. So am I, to be honest.
Ditto.
On June 4th, the Fish and Wildlife Service proposed, I think this is how it normally works. Like we were just talking about the grizzlies being reintroduced into Washington.
Right.
So anytime they like are going to do something like this, they have like an open forum for in this case, it's 60 days. Anybody can go on there and submit their comments on yay or nay, like why you agree with this, why you think it shouldn't happen. And if you want to do so, it's the federal e-rule. It just made me laugh, like how you have to do this. It's the federal e-rule making portal. And when you go to the portal, you search FWS-R4-ES-2025-0022.
Oh, easy squeezy. Easy squeezy.
But I'm guessing you could probably just Google Fish and Wildlife Service, Ghost Orchid, comments or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So it seemed like everything in the article made it sound like it's kind of it's going to make it through.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. The only people that would propose it may be like big oil. I don't know if there's anything of value in the land that they grow in.
What state is that again?
Florida.
Florida?
Yeah. So it's up 60 days. We'll find out. Hopefully they'll get added. It'll get some protection.
I sure do hope so.
I wonder what kind of documents you need to put in front of them to prove something like that. Or why it needs to be on that list.
Well, yeah, and I think even just the fact that it's such a unique environment that they grow in, and there's less than 1,000 or like only 500 breeding ones right now.
When you say poaching, so there's people
just picking them.
Yeah, just picking them.
Yeah,
but they're not doing it in a way that then they can sell them like tigers.
I think they do
exotic, cats that people breed and sell to people that are interested in that, which is also crazy.
No, I think they are selling them.
So there is a way to poach them from where they're from.
Yeah.
Safe enough to then pot that thing.
Yeah, and that's what I couldn't find a lot about it online because I was interested. Do they delicately remove the root structure off the tree?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I think maybe for reasons that are obvious now, like that they don't want that info online.
Yeah, they ain't saying
of how to do it.
Yeah,
so I couldn't really find much of how, like, if it's sustainable for years after you poach it.
How do they pollinate and fruit or seed or whatever?
That I don't know. I'm not sure. Like it did say, I did read that, and maybe put your botanist hat on. You said you weren't a green thumb a couple episodes ago. They are monocots, which is like that is something to do with how they reproduce, like how they pollinate and stuff. But that's where they are like different in that they do like the reverse osmosis through the roots. So it's some of the stuff's kind of backwards. But if you look up what a monocot is, that's probably a good place to start on how they reproduce and pollinate.
Monocot.
Yeah. But yeah, look up pictures of them because there's somewhere they're like good close-up photos and they look really cool.
Yeah, we always try to post these news stories on Blue Sky. So if you are on Blue Sky, follow us and we'll post this the same information.
Make sure you post the picture of the guy with the thumbs up.
You don't realize how small they are until that guy's big head is behind it.
And think there's probably people that like this, they search for these flowers. That's all they do every day is go out and search for these.
Like anything, like especially when you have this rare, like it makes me interested.
Like
to
a
say,
birder?
okay, I would, exactly.
Yeah. You could probably kill two birds with one stone.
Ooh.
Go birding in.
Literally. Now that ain't drive-by science.
Birders aren't allowed to use that phrase. I don't think.
That's true, Brad.
One in the bush,
Two in the bush, one in the
two in the hand, one in the bush.
Two in the hand, one in the bush.
I think you just got some check marks taken off your life list.
Yeah, dude.
And you don't know which birds they are.
Dang it. Yeah.
You're in trouble.
Which ones are in the hand and which ones are in the bush?
You might have lost your
privileges.
Journeyman level 3 status.
Oh, shit. Oh, dude.
That was it.
He saved you.
Dude, yeah, he did save you. Way to go, Panther.
Thanks, Walt.
Man, that was interesting. I do want to go see. I would be interested to see. I have one more question, if I may.
Yeah.
I'm curious as to like if there's only 1,000 of those, and there are poachers that go out there and take these, then there potentially are these ghost orchids elsewhere in the world, maybe in some rich dude's atrium, something like that. But I'm wondering, like, at what point does that? You know, like all the species stories that we talk about where it's, what was the one, the turtles? Or no, yeah, it was the turtles, but then somebody introduced the species because it was reminded them of home, and then all of a sudden you have this boom.
And
it's
starlings.
The starlings, there it is.
Starlings.
And so I'm wondering at some point if these things, like if it's at all, like some guys like, I'm going to plant this outside in my garden.
Yeah.
And then it pollinates to another place, and then now you have this explosion of this species over time of plant.
And these do grow in the Caribbean too, so like even if there is a black market trade for them, some of them could be coming from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Like I know Cuba is one of the big ones where they grow too. Yeah,
Awesome.
like I did a quick search online, and it says like you can buy them, like you want to buy them from a reputable source, so you know they weren't poached. But I think I don't see prices, so I'm guessing it's if you have to ask, you can't afford it kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's just in Florida. That's the only place they grow in the wild.
In the U.S. In the United States.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
boys.
Unless they grow in Guantanamo Bay in Cuba.
Okay. Boys, today we have another gear episode.
Yeah.
Gear.
We're going
electrical,
electronics, bro.
Batteries.
Are
high
you
technology.
guys psyched for this one and ready to go too?
I'm not psych. I'm charged up.
Oh, you're charged up, dude? Dang.
He's
Cool.
electrified.
Well, I can't think of an analogy right now, but let's hop on in. You know what I mean?
Plug it in.
Oh, God damn, you guys are good. You guys are really good. You guys are really good. I'm gonna have one by the end of this episode. I'm gonna do something.
Let's get let's spark this conversation off.
Jeez Louise.
You are falling behind.
Yeah, let's take a second because we have a whole episode to be landing these on. Let's get going, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
So what kind of electronic devices do you even take on a backpacking trip?
Dude, for me, I mean, there's all kinds, right? there, like anything backpacking wise, there's a lot of different electronics. There's a lot of things out there that you could buy. But I think today we're going to go over just a few of kind of like the more popular ones, I suppose, but also the more practical ones.
Yeah.
Like for me in technology, I think that there's certain things that you can buy that are kind of like, do you really need it? But there's also technology, and I think this is the fun side of this episode, that is very helpful. And we've talked about a couple of them in the past episodes, but today we just kind of want to take just a bit deeper of a dive into those.
Practical things, not like the little electric fan.
Right. No, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's not what we're going to go over.
Yeah, because you also have to keep in mind when you're bringing electronics, you need to have the capacity to charge them.
That's right.
For the most part.
So
most of it.
Yeah, I agree. So in terms of the way I thought that this episode would go is that we kind of start with the things that are the tech, and then we could finish up with how you charge that tech.
Yeah.
You in?
Let's do it.
So Brad, one of the ones I had that I wanted to ask you about, because I know that you dove into it like 1,000%, and I described it as kind of like my safety blanket on the trail the last time.
Yeah.
Because I did enjoy what it allowed us, and that's your messengers.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell the listeners a little bit about those?
Yeah, I took a deep dive into satellite messengers probably a year or so ago. I've never had one before, but figured I'm getting older, may break a hip out there.
Phew.
Get some SOS.
Yeah.
So what they do is most of them are pretty much the same. Kind of the main differentiating factor between a lot of them are which satellite network they use. Mm-hmm. Some of them, like, we'll say we're on 5 different satellite networks, so there's always coverage. Like, there's always some of those satellites overhead of you. And like your iPhone has an SOS satellite, and I think they only have like 2 different networks that it pulls from, so it can be harder to get a signal. And that really only, I guess I can't say it's not important, but like it's only important if you're messaging somebody.
Right.
Like texting somebody, it would take a way longer to send messages and receive messages. Or if you are in a deadly situation, that's just time ticking away while you're trying to get service.
Right.
Because a lot of times, even though they are satellite, if you're under thick foliage, you can't get a signal out either. So they say, like, if you can't get signal, you need to go out to an open field.
Right.
Which could be, depending on your situation,
hard.
But that's where, like, I think, like, for us, and it's probably a good idea, one person in the group has one.
Yeah.
And everybody doesn't need to have one, because most of these, they're all kind of similar in the fact that they have apps that connect to your phone, and you can just send out, like, you can pre-program messages. So when you get back to camp at night, you can send a message to everybody's loved ones, like whoever their contact is, just one blanket message to everybody saying, we're at camp.
Yeah.
We're good. Whatever. Or like, if you have somebody coming to meet you at the trailhead to pick you up, if you're 6 hours out, you can say, hey, I'll be there in 6 hours.
Yeah.
Just makes that kind of stuff easier.
So what does it look like?
Most of them are tiny little, like, boxes, like maybe half of an iPhone size, like a cell phone size.
I kind of thought that they look like tiny walkie-talkies.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And that is kind of, I know on our last trip, Kirsten had walkie-talkies. Mm-hmm. So anytime somebody would go off, like to the bathroom or something, you always took a walkie-talkie. And I think that was a good, like, that in combination with this, you should be pretty well covered.
Darn
like,
Skippy.
Even if you get away from everybody.
Until we got lazy and nobody took one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So the big hitter in these kinds of messengers is the Garmin inReach. Mm-hmm. You have the Garmin inReach Messenger, the Garmin inReach Mini 2, and the Garmin inReach Messenger Plus, which I think that's the newest of all of them.
Yeah.
The Messenger is also newer. That's what I got, is the Messenger. The main difference between the Mini 2 and the Messenger is the Mini 2 has a better screen that you can actually, like, type on and see weather forecasts and send messages. Oh. Whereas mine has a screen, but it's like, it's harder than doing the old, like, 888.
T9.
Like, yeah. I've never even actually did it. But that's kind of, in case your phone dies, you still have a little screen you can communicate with search and rescue or wherever.
Right.
So most of these do have battery lives too, where, like, unless you're out there for weeks and weeks at a time, like you're not going to run out of battery. Or if you
should be fine.
Like you can use them. I know the Messenger, you can also use that to charge your phone.
Oh.
So it's kind of like in the case of an emergency, your phone's dead. It doesn't, I think it does limit how much it lets you charge your phone, but it'll give you enough power to use it as a message. Like you can connect to the app, because the apps are seamless. Like the apps are, it's just like using any messenger, like sending text messages.
Will it transmit like an emergency?
Yeah.
I don't know,
ping
message or whatever, ping.
Yeah.
And you can set these up. Yeah, they will. And like you can set it up on it, and this impacts the battery life. You can ping a satellite every minute, every 10 minutes, every 30 minutes, and it'll create a breadcrumb of where you're at.
Man, to me, that is cool, dude.
And they can access all this.
Right.
Which some people might not like, but
well,
the purpose of it is so they can track
it. It depends on what your purpose is out there too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't want to be found, then so be it. But I mean, we said it a while ago when we discussed our trip out to the Tetons, and when you brought that Garmin, that it just felt like I've never taken one. You'd kind of leave a note for your wife or leave a note for your mom or something like that, telling them where you should be, when you should be back out of the woods. And that was kind of always sufficed. But it was, unless you're looking for a more, not rugged, but like
off the grid
experience, it was nice.
Yeah. Like
even just sending that text out, it felt nice. Like, you get a little lonely out there. I know that hanging out with Brad for a week seems like it would never get lonely ever, but it does, especially when your wife's at home or your kid or whatever, and just sending that little, hey, I love you, or
Brad,
we made it safe.
Brad's being dad, Brad.
Yeah. So he gave my wife like coordinates. This is where we're at. Oh, I see what you're saying.
It does
feel
that
alone.
It does that. Like it does send, when you do send those blanket, like we made it to camp, it does send your coordinates.
Yeah.
So like I was saying, it's cool. Like Bazzy could kind of follow along when you're out on a map.
Yeah. How cool, man.
Yeah. They are mostly like weatherproof too, like waterproof, because you want to keep it. If you have it buried in the bottom of your pack, it's not going to be able to get a signal to the satellites. So, like, I mount mine on my shoulder strap, or I keep it in the hip pouch pocket, or they say keep it in the lid of the very top of your thing and, like, pointing up, because that can also impact battery life if it's constantly, like, can't connect and it just keeps trying to send a signal to connect. So they're pretty cool. Like, they can locate you within 3 meters is what they all claim. So that's 9 feet, I think.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty close.
That's darn close.
But yeah, they're cool. So the other one I didn't mention is the Zoleo satellite communicator, which that one doesn't have a screen at all. Like a lot of the other ones don't have screens. I mean, they have those super sophisticated ones that look like the old 90s Nokia cell phone. But for the most part, these are the lightweight, compact, small, long battery life. Like they just have this purpose.
Right.
And I forgot to mention, I think I kind of said it, you can get weather updates.
Oh.
So you can get like a 3-day forecast, which is super helpful too. And you pay for, like, the more you pay for a plan, the more bells and whistles you get with the plan.
Yeah, because this is all subscription based too, right?
And you can turn it on and off. So like the month you're going, you can turn it, like, pay. And it was like $40. And I think I got like 40, you can send 40 messages. So you kind of are on a timer. Like you can only have so many messages, but the check-in messages don't count towards that.
Oh, cool.
Those are just like free messages.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, it came in handy. We used it.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah.
To move it on a little bit, the Garmin doesn't have GPS, correct? Like that's not something that you would be it's more for safety, not necessarily planning your route, going through your route.
That's where, like, I think the inReach Messenger or the inReach Mini 2 does have a better, like, the little display screen does have a map on it. Like you can load a map on it.
Okay.
And that's definitely not its main purpose.
Right.
It's like all about the coordinates, not so much like how to get it from coordinate to coordinate.
Right. Well, then the next thing I had some questions about, and I've been kind of diving into, are GPS watches for the backcountry, I guess. A lot of these watches are a little bit more for like trail running or running, but they have that kind of crossover to where they make them perfect for backpacking as well.
Yeah.
Have you looked into watches at all?
A little bit, because it is something I'm interested in. Having an Apple Watch for years, and the battery only lasts a day.
Oh man.
These have, like, you're more familiar with it than I am, but like crazy battery life.
Crazy battery life.
Yeah.
And honestly, to me, and probably to everybody, that's like the biggest selling point for me and these watches, for the safety purposes, right? To always have a little access to something and to know where you're at. So I was looking up right now the Garmin Enduro 3. I think that might be the newest one. It's the best of overall on Gear Lab. And it's got over 320 hours battery life on this, solar powered as well. And I'm not sure exactly what it means, but it tracks the sun or tracks the light in order to charge itself. So, I mean, just think about to me, having, now that I have a Samsung smartwatch that also has maybe 24 or 48 hours battery life, the idea of having that GPS map, I mean, most of these have a great looking interface. The screen is nice and bright and available. I'm not sure what size most screens are, but I think they go from kind of smaller up to a pretty large watch face.
Yeah, they do, because like the displays are almost like an LED display.
They're getting good at
I'm
it.
telling you, man.
Because those watches used to be just, I wouldn't want one because it's just so bulky.
Right.
And heavy. Like, come on. But now they're just getting so sleek and smooth and easier to use.
And lightweight.
Yep.
It's like Apple really fucked up by sticking with the same design they've had the whole time.
Well, because I don't think, unless Apple goes into the rugged side of it, like Samsung, I know they make like a more rugged version of one of their Ultras or whatever, I think is what Samsung calls it. But these aren't made for texting all day long.
Right.
It's not made to get phone calls and updates from your calendar. These are more specific to what you're doing outdoors.
Yeah.
And that's just where I think it would be nice, instead of relying on that 24-hour battery life of your watch or my watch. I think it'd be nice to take that puppy off, set it off to the side, take your Garmin, take your Suunto, or whatever other brands are out there. That's your trail watch. You know what I mean?
And they do, like, if you do have a Garmin Messenger, they all talk to each other too.
Yeah,
like
that's
they all
right.
kind of work together.
Yeah. Now, I will say, in terms of cost, I mean, this is up there. Like, for a good one, this Garmin Enduro 3, it's roughly $800.
Oh my God.
So I know there's a very steep price to pay for like these good watches or whatever whatever that is. But and I know that you can get down with some of like the maybe last year's version or a couple years version, or there's some of those are a little less. I think you can come down to maybe 250, 300 on one. But that 320 hours of battery life, dude. I mean, I don't know. For me, that's something that I would certainly look into, or at least wait for like 3 years from now and get that when there's an Enduro 6 out. You know what I mean? Go ahead and get the 3.
So do they have like USB chargers? How do they charge?
I think it's, I think it's USB, or if it's like a wireless charger.
Okay.
What makes them so pricey?
I think it's all the GPS, the rugged ability
packed into a small package.
From what I understand, that it's called UI or UL Tech, and it's software, and it is just it's how you run it all. You can set playlists for music and books on the watches. You have access. I mean, I'm talking 320 hours running GPS at all times.
Okay.
Like that's just.
And they have a lot of health stuff too, right?
Like they check your heart rate, your blood pressure, all that certain stuff, for sure.
I don't think it checks your blood pressure.
What is it? Blood
O2 levels?
O2 levels. Sorry. Yes. Sorry. Yeah. So, I mean, there's
heart rate, all that.
I don't know. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Like altitude, all that stuff.
I'm not sure. Well, I mean, I just want to say, like, I'm not promoting the idea of buying an $800 watch.
Right.
One, because we don't get paid by Garmin. Two, because that's crazy amounts of money. But I think if you're potentially looking for a smartwatch for what you're doing outdoors, that some of these watches are quite enticing for what they offer.
And I will say, like, good for Garmin, because it's not too often a company. Remember, their main product was the GPS things you'd put on your windshield or on your dash of your car to get you to where you're going.
Yeah.
And then like cell phones killed that, and they pivoted And you don't see it too often where companies can make that pivot and still survive.
Way to go, Garmin,
yeah,
dude.
good job, Garmin.
Saving lives out in the
in the
backcountry.
And if you don't have the money for a GPS watch with all the fancy tech, just get yourself a little Timex.
Yeah.
It's nice to kind of just flip the wrist up and see what time it is.
Yeah, that has like a 10,000 hour battery.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. It is nice to have something to tell the time, know when you're getting the camp or how much longer you have or whatever. But this is a much different product.
Oh, I know.
Than just your Timex. Now, what I thought you were going to say is your phone, like just the tech on your phone.
No, because I'm an advocate for keeping your phone off your face as much as possible when I'm out there. So I don't. Unless I'm taking a picture, I don't have my phone out.
Like it's more just a camera.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have service anyway, so you can't do much on it.
But you could get certain apps and certain things to be able to run your phone out in the backcountry.
Yep.
To run GPS, to track your maps.
Yeah, because even if you don't have cell service, you still have GPS.
Yeah.
And it'll still locate you on a map that you have. Like you can download Google Maps and then all the like Gaia. What's the main trail?
All Trails.
All Trails.
Yeah.
Like if you have one of those subscriptions, you can download the trail maps offline, download your routes offline, and your GPS will still locate you.
Yeah, so it is a perfect, I mean, if you're not wanting to buy a watch like I'm talking about, something like that, your phone still works wonderfully. You use your phone like to keep us on trail or whatever all the time.
Yeah, with Gaia, yeah.
So it certainly works.
I'd say without Brad, I'd probably definitely be checking the phone a little more.
Oh, for sure. I was going to say, I think it's, you're definitely jaded. It's the same reason why I don't need to learn how to tie knots. Like, okay, you know how when I said the other episode that I didn't want to tie knots, and luckily I have you guys, and you said, let's make a pact to never tie knots.
Yeah.
Well, Brad, let's make a pact then that we will never tell Travis where we're going ever, or let him know any information at all.
If he's in front, we'll just let him take us 5 miles off course.
Yes, exactly.
Like, well, Travis, we were following you.
Dude, what's going on here?
But they do iPhones now. I don't know about Samsung's, but a lot of people may have seen it. If you lose service, now there's a little satellite that shows up on the top right corner. And you can actually use satellite services. Like, I think it is mainly just emergency SOS kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked into it too much because I think you get like a free grace period if you use it. But it's pretty much the same as one of the Garmin satellites. You need a clear view. I think it may even tell you where you're like to point it in the sky.
Wow.
And it says like specifically hold it like you normally would so you don't block the antenna. If you're counting on that, definitely look more into how to use it. Because I saw there was even like a test you can run to make sure it's working or like you know how to use it or whatever.
Cool.
But that's like a newer thing, I think. iPhones haven't always had satellite communications.
And also, if you're that deep, you should definitely take a good look over of the map and just kind of important points of interest.
Yeah.
So you could learn your way just in case.
Yeah.
For sure. So then that really covers, I mean, in terms of tech for GPS, tech for things like that.
Wait, does that watch have SOS? Like, is that why it's so expensive?
Dude, I believe so. I think it's more, it's all that it offers. I mean, dude, you can't go get an analog watch that's made to last.
That Casio, Timex. What'd you say?
I mean, that's true, but no, I mean, that has a single battery.
Those G-Shocks are pretty cheap.
They are, but yeah, those are, I mean, okay, valid, yes.
That's like buying a bicycle instead of a car.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, you could say that like it's a bicycle's more fuel efficient than a car or something along those lines, but there's clearly different tech in one versus the other. But I think it's everything. I think it's also the casing that it's in, the software that it comes with, and how good that software is, how interactive, whether or not you have a touch screen on your watch.
Yeah.
All of that stuff plays into it.
Yeah.
I think another big one
Upsell on luxury. as well.
Well, sure. I think when I was researching watches, a big one was ability to play books or music and then have Bluetooth to your headphones.
Oh.
So that was a big one, and how much storage space you have to be able to load in
That is
however
impressive.
much. Yeah. So that was another, I read about, a lot of people in their comments talked about, it was really easy to play music. But I think.
How many Friends episodes can you fit on there?
Oh, Lord.
I know that was your priority.
Yeah, absolutely my priority.
And your box of tissues.
Yeah. Yeah.
What, because he's crying while he's watching it?
This is going to end sometimes and I don't want it to. Joey. Dude, so that kind of, if I'm correct here, then that kind of like shores up the idea of tech for GPS then, right?
Yep.
Okay.
What's the next? I would say most important. If that was the most important, what would be the next?
I would say I'll hit on cameras a little bit.
Yeah.
Because everybody loves to take photos, when you're out there. It is obviously a lot more weight, a lot more to take into consideration, taking like a dedicated camera versus most phones now can take pretty good pictures. And like that would be my advice is unless you want to get into photography and do it all the time, I probably wouldn't recommend like doing it just when you're backpacking or like outside. Because you have to do it a lot to get good at it, to make it better than a phone picture can take.
It'd have to be really worth it to carry that equipment with you on a backpacking trip.
And like most phones, we printed out prints from our iPhone, and it's kind of funny because all four of us put all of our photos on Google Drive, and you can see what everybody's phone was. We had the range from like iPhone 11, 12, all the way to like, you had the one Samsung and then there was like an iPhone 14 or 15. Some of them were a little better, but for the most part, they all printed out fine.
Yeah,
they blew
look
up
great.
fine. I just put a bunch in Lightroom where I edit other photos and ordered them and they look great.
Yeah, I'm really curious for this next trip that we're going to go on because as Brad stated, he's been on this constant search of looking for camera carrying gear and making his loadout as light as possible. And I think you're getting into the realm of starting to cut some other things out so you can take your camera setup.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be really interesting to see like how all of that work that you're doing transpires into comfortability and on trail.
Yeah.
Because I think you're entirely spot on that if you're going to plan to bring like a Nikon or whatever camera you have, Canon?
Canon R10.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that camera going to squeeze out?
What do you mean?
Your portable bidet. Got to make room for
Oh, my, for one, it's going to be my camp chair. That almost takes care of almost all the weight of my camera gear, which my loadout, I'll go through what I'm planning on taking, but the lenses are likely to change a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that's why I'm also looking at like a lighter backpack. I've already lightened the rest of my stuff quite a bit.
Yep.
And so I'm just cutting weight, and that'll help me decide which lenses I do want to take. Because that's a very tough decision, like which lenses.
I imagine Brad on our next trip with his bandana on, pair of sunglasses, just snapping photos, no sleeves on his shirt, like he's a war photographer in Nam.
No, I have my sleeve cut off of my shirt and tied around my head. Like, you don't get it, man.
I'm going to be extremely curious to see how that works out because I understand that there's going to be better photos than our phones can take, but I'm not sure if the risk outweighs the reward.
My photos are going to blow your socks off.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they do because I'll probably be in them or I'll know the scenery that you're taking the photo of. I'm just curious. I'm just curious.
So I will say they are surprisingly durable. Like the lenses and the cameras are surprisingly durable.
Brad has been dying to say all of this on the podcast for a long time.
I know.
But this is it. I mean, there's people out there that think it's crazy to take a camera, but
I'm one of them.
But it's 48 ounces. Like 2.5 pounds.
I'm all for it because you're carrying it and you take cool pictures, and when we get back, I get to be the beneficiary of those pictures.
Well,
yeah,
and
I understand that. Yeah.
well, and
Carry away, Brad.
We'll give the last thing I'll say, I'll give some quick tips for shooting on iPhones. If you are going to use your iPhone, there's certain things you can do that'll make them better. And especially if you know somebody that has like Photoshop or Lightroom, they can definitely improve them. But you can go into the settings, and I'm not going to go through like every detail. But
no, Brad, please go through every detail.
But you can change the image to a raw image, and that's just like a blank slate so that you can put it into Lightroom and Photoshop and make it look exactly like what you saw, which is kind of always the goal.
Wait, do you start this from the home screen?
No, I'm not doing that because I don't know if I can. I could probably figure it out right now. But
No,
if you
don't. Please don't.
No.
those little things, just look up that, and it'll tell you how to like. It'll be really, really large photos or sizes, so be prepared for that, like file sizes, so you'll eat up all your storage. But that's a good way to use your phone to get good pictures.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to take good pictures.
Dude, damn right.
And look up the rule of thirds.
Yeah, that's
help.
true.
Travis
Yeah.
taught me that a long time ago.
It's a little
Nice.
trick.
Little
Yeah.
trick of the trade.
But to charge all of these devices,
Yeah, that's the big ticket here.
talk about some battery banks.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you have to charge that camera quite often?
Yeah, no. Yes and no. Depends what I'm seeing. But I can go, if I'm out for 3 hours, say I take 1,000 photos, which if I'm shooting like rapid, I can get like one battery will make it through that. And I have a feeling when I'm out like backpacking, I'm not going to be taking nearly that many photos. And I would think that I'll get 2 days out of a battery probably. But going through like trying to figure out how to charge it, I did learn more about battery banks than what I knew before, because it does take a specific type of battery bank to charge it. So there's something called power delivery. Have you guys ever heard of that?
No.
So it's a technology that came with the new USB-C port. The battery bank will specifically say PD or power delivery capable, and you also need a cable that's PD capable. But I mean, it's better for charging everything because it talks to your device, and they agree on what the highest output the battery will give the device to charge it the fastest and to like help maintain the battery better. My phone, if I plug my phone into mine, it's like rises 50% in no time. Like it's so fast.
Wow.
And
That's probably why I'll have a cheap cable plugged in downstairs, and it takes my phone forever.
Yeah, that's what
but
it
I
is.
plug it into my Mac, and it's just fills right up.
Yeah, that's what it is. And before trying to figure out how to, because I think like iPads and stuff, you need that same thing to be able to charge like those like bigger devices. You need the power delivery capability, and it's worth it.
Deliver the proper power.
Damn right, dude.
So I have my new one that I got. It's Inu, INIU. Mm-hmm. I saw it on a lot of reviews. It has the PD capability, 20,000 milliamp hours. That seems like that's the most common that everybody gets backpacking. I think there's like 10,000 and 20,000, and that's just the weight, however much weight you want to carry.
Yep.
But like previously, that 20,000 watt, I'd charge my phone every night, which I didn't need to. I could probably get 2 days on my phone without charging it. But I would just kind of top everything off at night, and I'd still have like 50% of the battery bank left by the time I'm gone.
Yeah.
So I think it's best probably to experiment with it.
Yeah, you should definitely be playing around. I'm still on the PD part of it. That's awesome. I did not know any part of that. So I will be looking into that. I have like 8 battery banks because I get them for Christmas, or if I see one for sale next to the counter.
Yeah, it's one of
They
those
come in
things.
all shapes and sizes.
I pick one up. So I've got all kinds. It's certain. How many power banks do you bring? Do you bring just one?
Right now, I bring just one. I may end up bringing a second one because I do have 2. I have it's the Anker Power Core. I think is another super popular one.
Yep.
That's like the OG.
Yeah, I have both of the ones that you've said so far. So
Very
that's
nice.
why I'm like, damn, PD. I think I've got this.
Yeah, I know that Inu one is definitely PD. I think I don't know if I think the Anker one is too.
Yeah, because I bring two. I bring two power banks just because it's another one of those things like safety wise. I'm gonna kick myself in the ass if I'm running out of battery or something bad goes south, and I go to plug in my phone or whatever, and it's like out of battery. It's like, well, this becomes obsolete.
Yeah.
So anything
you're literally carrying dead weight.
Yeah, exactly. Anything to be able to keep that power. And like you said, I charge everything at the end of the night, kind of top it all off. But I don't know if I've ever actually ran through all of one power bank.
Yeah.
It's probably insignificant, but
I am kind of, I guess, suspect of those battery packs that just kind of come up for sale here and there.
Yeah.
And they're just all weird brands,
Like in
and
the
names and
checkout
stuff.
aisle.
Yeah. And I've fallen victim to that because I bought like a discount half price battery pack with solar panel charging on it.
Yep.
The brand is Mossy Oak.
Oh.
The camouflage.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know if this is just something they had some other company make for them.
Yep.
You know how companies do that type crap. Is
They
it
just
quality
slap
or
some
not?
camo on it.
Yeah.
Call it Mossy Oak.
But I've been testing it out, and I don't know what to think about it, if it's worth it. I think I can get 3 charges, full phone charges, but I've never been able to charge it fully with the
Like
solar.
straight solar.
Yeah.
I also have a solar powered one. I was going to ask that. I mean, because I think one big tech thing that's coming out right now is solar, is allowing your stuff to charge. Like Kirsten had her light, those battery packs, things along those lines that you can strap onto the back of your pack and let just sit in that sun all day. So I also have one that's solar powered, and I don't like. What the issue with it is I have trouble deciding if I want to take the risk and also carry like an extra, like those solar powered ones right now, at least, are like another pound.
Dang.
You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know if it could be a little less than that, but like they're definitely girthier. They're bigger battery packs. You know what I mean? So I'm quarreling right now as to take that solar powered one and then not take 2 battery packs.
Yeah.
Or take the 2 battery packs and leave the solar one at home because it is so much bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
But solar, I mean, Kirsten's light was sweet. What do you think about all the solar tech that's coming out?
Yeah, I think it's probably not quite there yet. Like you said, like it's not lightweight enough.
Some of it is. Have you seen some of like the fold out solar like panels?
Mm-mm.
Dude, some of it is pretty out there. I can't remember the name of the company, but it looks like a kind of like a seat pad, like a foam seat pad. So it folds up, and then you unfold that thing, and it apparently gets charged fast, and it is unbelievably thin and lightweight.
You plug that into a battery?
I believe so.
Can you plug it into any battery?
I'm not 1,000% sure. I all I'm saying is I slightly refute the idea that it's not there yet.
Yeah.
In that I think maybe the solar part is there now. It's just how to integrate that. And I agree. That's where I do agree with you. I think solar is there. The integration into the tech is there.
Yeah.
But I mean, we just talked about that Enduro 3 watch that is 320 hours of life.
Yeah.
Because it has a watch that can find the solar or the light anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty already there. You know,
I mean, depending on how well that works, or is it just like a gimmick?
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know either.
It's Gear Lab's #1 rated watch.
But it's like, you're still going to have to bring a battery bank no matter what.
Not if you have everything solar, right?
But I don't think you can charge like a phone straight off of solar panels. I can't imagine it's consistent enough to be able to produce like the right wattage and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't either.
That's where it like can charge a battery, but then your battery sends the correct amount of power to you.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you would still need
like kind of
that
converting
integration.
It. Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the battery just kind of gathers the small stream of energy the solar panels will get and damming it up until you.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if the integration's there, then you wouldn't need a battery pack, right? If you have solar being integrated with all of your tech, like your ear pods or something along those lines, then you have that integration enough that your battery, everything you have is charging solar.
Yep.
And that's
It'd
if
be
you
pretty
bring
cool.
a lot of
That would be
stuff.
pretty cool.
If you just say, bring your phone, and you have like Gaia on it, and you're testing to make sure that your phone is charged. One little battery pack will do you good for the whole trip.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I agree.
And you
Yeah,
have
I
a
mean,
dedicated camera, so you're not even taking pictures with your phone.
Take it. Yeah, that's actually true though, man. Because your phone will run through some shit when you're out there taking. And you're like, no, photo's good, but I'm gonna take a video of my friend walking in front of me, or something like that, and then your battery life's just fly. And the whole time it's searching for any connection to anything,
Yep.
Well, is there anything more? Anything more in terms of tech? Do we cover what we think we can cover this episode?
Yeah, I think that was all I wanted to talk about.
Me too. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's the real, I'd call it, those are luxury items, I think. I mean, they're
I don't
safety
know.
items
Yeah.
and security items, but if you've got a phone, I think you're still in pretty good shape.
I would agree. I agree. Like I agree with a question mark, because I think, like, once again with Brad's first piece of gear talk with his messengers, that to me is different than having a phone, because you're not out there using your phone, and the idea that you can reach home or reach a ranger anywhere you are, like, I mean, how many people do you hear that they fall down a cliff and they just die there?
Then we should challenge ourselves to not bring our phones if we have one of those things.
Well, I needed to message.
That'd be so hard to
through
do.
though. Well, I can message on it, but it's not easy.
See, and I'm aware of my age now. I mean, we started a podcast called Busted Knees and Pretty Trees, and I think that in turn, like, I want to be able. Part of me enjoying it so much, like, that's why I love ultralighters, and I'm so happy for them for doing the things that they're doing. But there is I enjoy safety. Yeah. And like the idea of that I can bring something that I could be toasty warm in the middle of a snowstorm and it's ultralight, like, I'll do that. But waking up at 3 a.m. and doing push-ups in my tent to stay warm, not going to do that. Like, not going to do that.
Well, and like for somebody that's a mom, a dad, husband, wife, whatever,
right?
Like that could be a deal breaker. Like you're not going off the grid for 5 days. Like, are you crazy? But then if you have a way to be contacted and at least like let them know you're okay, that could possibly help.
Darn Skippy.
Just like another thing to get you out, like, let you get out there.
Yeah. Now, I will agree that they are luxury compared to like the 1970s, like, or any time when this tech wasn't available. Like, then you could be like, oh, people have walked. Johnny Appleseed has walked however far,
Yeah.
But
they are kind of like, even like I don't think I said the messenger's like $200, so they still are kind of expensive, but not crazy.
I mean, what are you willing to pay to have that extra blanket of safety?
I'm willing to pay $200.
Yeah, you are. Granted. Yeah.
And then pay another $400 to go to a island isolated in the middle of the Lake Superior.
That's true, dude. Where nobody's gonna get to us anyway. Well, all right, dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good little episode about gear.
Yep. Let's take it out.
Yeah, let's get out of here. You guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening. Keep on sauntering.
Bye.
See ya.
Well, I know the joke, but I just forgot to say it. Well, it pertains more to last episode. But what do you get if you mate an elephant and a rhinoceros? Hell if I know.
Nailed it. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I said I had a joke.